I want you guys to work on your pronunciation, of course, because it's really important. And one of the hardest things about English is you need to trust your ears, not your eyes. Now, what does that mean? When we're reading or you see a word or see someone's name, you might see letters in that word. But I don't want you to focus too much on that word or too much on the letters. I want you to trust what you hear from other people. So if someone says it a certain way, you should copy the way they say it. Don't get stuck on the letters in the word. This is really common. Students will see words and feel like they have to say every letter in the word. And even though I tell my students, hey, you should say it this way, blah, 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 when they read the word, they still read it as the letters in the word. And what you have to do is trust your ears, not your eyes. English is a spoken language first, right? And so we want to speak how other people speak. So you want to listen and copy. Kind of, you want to be a parrot. You want to listen and then try to imitate the same sounds. Okay? So trust your ears, not your eyes. So we're going to look at some examples of words that are tricky, where it looks like something, but you should say it a different way. Okay? So this is a little bit tricky. I want you guys to listen carefully. And if you can, try to repeat with me once in a while. Okay? So let's look at some common ones. Some ones that you might know already and realize that the sounds are not the same as the way it's written. A very common thing is the T sound. The letter T in a lot of words doesn't sound like a T when speaking naturally, speaking regular English. Maybe your teachers will go, hello, today we're going to talk about cats. And they say their T really strong. But when you're speaking real English with native speakers, those T's are not so strong. So, here's a word. How do you say this word? Did you say water? Well, we've talked about this before. T sometimes doesn't sound like a T. It sounds like a D. This should be water. Okay? So, water, maybe some people say it that way, but natural American English, we will say water. It's almost like a D sound, water. So here's a sentence. Oops, let's get better at that. It's good to drink lots of water. It's good to drink lots of water. Do you hear that? It sounds like a D, not a T. Okay? Here's another one. How do you say this word? Is it butter? Maybe if you're trying to be fancy, but native English speakers will say butter. It sounds like a D. Now, this isn't true of every T. Be careful. But if it's in the middle like this, sometimes it sounds like a D. Water, butter. So, could you pass me the butter? You try. Butter. Could you pass me the butter? Okay? So, this is another time when it has a T. You could say water, but native speakers will say water. And I want you to try to copy what you hear. So focus on, it sounds like a D, water. And don't worry about that T in the word. Okay? Now another thing is words from other languages. These ones should be obvious that they're not from English. They came from another language. So the sound, the pronunciation is a little bit funny. So let's take a look at a couple. One we just talked about is this word. Now, how do you pronounce this word? If you look at the letters, it looks like Genra. or genner. Oh my God, don't say that. This word is genre. Ooh, interesting. It looks like genner, but please never say genner. That sounds ridiculous. This is genre. This is a word that comes from French, and so English takes the way we read that word, genre. And that's the kind of story or a kind of movie, okay? So I like this kind of movie. My favorite genre is science fiction. So if you hear your teacher say genre, but you see G-E-N-R-E, don't say my favorite genre. It's my favorite genre is science fiction, okay? Let's keep going. Another one is this. How do you say this? Is it D-butt? Oh my God, don't say that. His big D-butt. No. This word is debut. What? Wait a second, what? Debut. So again, this is a word that comes from French. If you trust your eyes, you'll get mixed up. But trust your ears and you know, okay, debut. Ignore the letters. Who cares? And so debut means the first time you see something, or the first time someone comes out, or the first time somebody arrives, or someone's first song or album or movie. Okay? So Jay Cho. Jay Cho's debut album is called Jay. Debut album means his first album. He created music and this was the first time. So his debut album is called Jay. So like we said before, words from other languages are the ones that are obvious. You know these will not sound like English. Like you don't trust the letters. So you got to trust your ears, okay? What else do we have? Names. If you meet someone, it's always good to ask them how they say their name. Because sometimes it can be confusing or surprising, okay? And so maybe you see the letters, but just like the words before, maybe their name comes from another language and you might get messed up. It's a good idea to ask them, excuse me, how do you pronounce your name? Okay? So this is a family name. This is kind of a lot of letters, right? There's only one vowel, but a lot of consonants, right? So you might say, is it schmidt? No. So this is a German name, and it sounds like Schmidt. So the SCH sounds like SH. The M is there. And then DT just sounds like a T. So in American English, we say Schmidt. Maybe in German, it's a little different. But basically, if you get too worried about the letters, you'll get messed up and go crazy. So trust your ears. Ask someone how to pronounce it. Okay? Now, the next three will blow your mind. These are three Irish names. And Irish names have crazy spelling because, like the French words, these come from the Irish language, or it's also called Gaelic. So let's look at three names. Now, how do you think you say this name? If you trust your eyes, you might say, oh, this name is Siobhan. Siobhan. No. This name is an Irish name, and it's pronounced Siobhan. So, what the heck? But it's just like the French names, right? The letters sound different in different languages. So in Irish, these letters make different sounds. So if you trust your eyes, you'll say something crazy. But if you listen to what the person says, they say, oh, my name's Siobhan. Siobhan. It's not that hard, right? How about another Irish name? Oh, here we go. That's a lot of vowels. A-I-O-R-S-E. Okay, if you trust your eyes, you try to read it. Saiors. Does it rhyme with horse? No, no, no. It's another Irish name. Remember, ask the person how to say it. And so that's Saoirse. It's a cool name, Saoirse. But all of these letters come down to just two sounds, Saoirse. And one other amazing one I think is cool. It looks like Niamh, another Irish name, which you might go, okay, I don't know how to say that. I give up. I'm not going to read any more names. And so you ask the person, and they say, oh, my name's Neve. What? Where did that come from? But this name in Irish, well, this is English now because it came from Irish, became a name in English. If you see this name, it's Neve. So trust your ears, don't trust your eyes, right? Names are definitely a tricky one. Okay. Place names. So this is also important when you're going to the United States. You might see places like this. This is a city close to where I grew up. If you trust your eyes, you might say Worcester. But no, this one is Worcester. So we have all these letters. It goes down to two sounds. Worcester. So Worcester. Just ignore the letters. Don't worry about it. Just listen to what people say. So, oh, John lives in Worcester. Okay? So trust your ears. Here's another similar one. Oops. Is that Leicester? No. Leicester. So Worcester and Leicester. The two words look crazy, but they actually rhyme. Okay? And so you could say Tim lives in Leicester. So this is another time where you should ask people or trust what you hear. Someone tells you that's Worcester. Later, don't say Worcester. Okay? So trust your ears and try to remember what you heard. Don't focus on what you see. Okay? Now, two more places, and then we'll go to some common words that you might be mispronouncing, or in an American accent. So, two more place names. This is a store that recently came to Taipei. If you look at the letters, kind of like those Irish names, you're gonna pull out your hair. Ah! It looks like this is a Spanish name, or maybe Mexican. But it's Don Quixote. But no, if you go to the store, you'll hear them singing the song. Don Don Donkey Quixote. So trust your ears. Don Quixote. And again, it's from another language. Q-U-I sounds like ki. X-O sounds like ho. T-E sounds like te. Don Quixote. So your friend might say, let's go shopping at Don Quixote. Okay? You can buy some stuff from Japan. It's kind of funny. A place with a Spanish name selling Japanese stuff. Whatever. Okay. Next one. This is leading to what we're going to do next. This is Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a huge waterfall in the United States. And you might look at this and think Niagara Falls. Niagara. So if you try to say quickly, oh, Niagara Falls, that's kind of hard to say. But some words, it's not that it's from another language. It's just that we will simplify it to make it easier to say. Niagara Falls is hard because Niagara is too many sounds. So what we do, we simplify it. Niagara. So Niagara. So this G A-R-A over here turns into G-R-A. Niagara becomes Niagara because it's easier to say. You see Niagara, but just say Niagara. Trust your ears, not your eyes, okay? So I might say, my parents visited Niagara Falls, okay? And so again, if you're reading a map, if you just heard someone say, how do we get to Niagara Falls? Don't say, we get to Niagara Falls by blah, blah, blah. You should copy the way someone else said it, okay? Now, this is a common thing to happen. We simplify words. And so, we're going to look at some words you think you know, and how can we say them more smoothly, more quickly, and how should you say it, and it's not the same as the way it looks. So these are some words you may think you know, or you may think you are saying it correctly when you read it. So, here's a word. It looks like wondering. So, wondering. Wondering. Of course, you can say it that way. Wondering. Hey, I was wondering, do you want to do anything special for your birthday? Okay? That's okay. You can say it that way, but we will smooth it, make it faster. Hey, I was wondering. It's a little bit hard to say wondering. Too many sounds. So we simplify it, and it becomes wondering. So we take this E, and it disappears. Okay? In Niagara Falls, it's gara becomes gra, right? So a lot of times, a vowel will disappear. Wondering becomes wondering. It just makes it easier to say. Hey, I was wondering versus, hey, I was wondering. It's a lot easier to say, or smoother to say. Hey, I was wondering, do you want to do anything special for your birthday? Can you say that quickly? Hey, I was wondering, do you want to do anything special for your birthday? You try. Pretty good. Okay. Next up, another word you think you know is basically. Basically. So we have basic, and then we turn it into an adverb. Basically. Okay. Basically. I think you know where this is going. We have 4 sounds. That's too many. I'm basically finished with my project. I just need to spell check. So basically finished means you're almost finished, right? But basically is hard to say, so we say basically. Basically. So 4 sounds goes down to 1. And what happened? This A disappeared. Basically. Basically. Say it with me. Basically. Basically. I'm basically finished. That's a lot easier to say than I'm basically finished. If you take out that A, it's a lot smoother. Okay, what else do we have? This one's something you probably use all the time. Interesting. Again, 4 sounds is too long, right? So, I learned an interesting fact the other day. I learned an interesting fact the other day. Oh, that's hard to say. Did you know that birds used to be dinosaurs? That's true. A long, long time ago, all birds were dinosaurs. Maybe that's why some birds are scary, because they're like T-Rexes. Okay. But interesting, too many syllables, too hard to say. So we mix it up. Interesting becomes interesting. So this E disappears. Interesting. Can you say it with me? Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I learned an interesting fact the other day. That's a lot easier than saying, I learned an interesting fact. Interesting fact. Okay? So this is a really common one that people will say 4 syllables when they only need 3. Don't say interesting, say interesting. Okay, one more. Come for table. What? No. Do you come for the table? No. A lot of people, when they learn this word, they'll say comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. Again, that's a pain in the butt. That's too hard to say. My couch isn't very oh my gosh, what was that accent? My couch isn't very comfortable. I think we should get a new one. Oh, that hurts me to say it. So we actually change this and make the spelling, we'll totally ignore the spelling. It looks like comfortable, but we mix it up and say comfortable. So this middle section, this ORT, gets all mixed up. And then this A disappears. So the A goes away. This ORT turns into a ter, which is weird. So comfortable. Comfortable. My couch isn't very comfortable. I think we should get a new one. So trust your ears, not your eyes. Okay? 2 more, and then we're going to wrap up so you guys, I don't make you guys fall asleep. Okay? So this one is something you see all the time. How do you say this word? Do you say says? One of my students was reading this as says. Now, that's totally fine. If you have S-A-Y, if you just have S-A-Y, it's say. What did you say? But if you have an S on there, it changes the sound. And maybe you didn't know that. Don't say says. We should cook the pasta for 8 minutes. It says so on the bag. That's hard to say. So no S. It's okay to say. If there is an S, we pronounce it as S-E-Z. So if someone's talking, they wouldn't say, oh, he says something. He says something. So we should cook the pasta for 8 minutes. It says so on the bag. So not says, but says. It says so. And that makes it a little bit easier. It's still tricky because it's S, a Z sound, and then an S. Says so. But it's a little bit easier than says. Okay? We should cook the pasta for 8 minutes. It says so on the bag. You try. It says so on the bag. Okay? One more. Oh, no, that's it. No more. So this is another one. This is a situation where we have some really common words. Interesting, comfortable, says. And you will see the words all the time. And if you focus on what you see, you're going to get messed up. You're going to say, oh, that's very interesting, or that couch is very comfortable. And it's really hard to say it that way. It makes it more difficult to read. And what you have to do is sometimes just ignore what you see in the letters, right? Don't worry about all those letters. Interesting has all those E's in there, but who cares? You don't have to say that E if you don't hear Americans say that E. Comfortable, but it says O-R-T. Who cares? Native speakers say ter, so you can say the same. You don't need to follow these letters. You have to just do what everybody else does. So the thing about language, trust your ears, not your eyes. Listen to what people say and copy it. Don't do what it says in the book, right? Follow books if they're teaching you things, but believe your ears. Languages change, the way people say things change, and that's what you should do. Try to copy what you hear, not what you see, okay? So that's about it for today. I think we can wrap up here. Thank you everybody for joining. I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you guys next week, okay? Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.